close the month by consecrating ourselves to her, knowing that with her everything is easier. St. Bernard says, if the winds of temptation arise, if you run into the reeds of trials, look to the star, call upon Mary. The Blessed Virgin Mary has already passed before us through the narrow path that leads to heaven. Before us, she carried the cross. Before us, she has known the ascent of the Spirit through suffering. So today, as we consecrate ourselves to her, she comes to meet us, to take us by the hand, to initiate us into the secret of her interior life, which must become the model and norm of our own. So we shall consider Mary especially as the ideal and the model of our interior life. No one has understood, as she did, the depth of meaning in the words of Jesus when he says, there is only one thing that is necessary. And so no one has lived by these words better than she. From the very first moment of her life, she belonged entirely to God and lived only for him. And so in today's gospel, Jesus from the cross, seeing his mother and his beloved disciple, he says to her mother, woman, behold your son. And after that he said to the disciple, behold your mother. And from that hour the disciple took her to his own. So how could it be different for us than it was for John the evangelist? I'm sure that as we were preparing ourselves to this day, we were kind of apprehensive about it. The truth of the matter is that this apprehension or this hesitation comes only from one single fact, and that fact is that we find it difficult to become slaves of the Blessed Virgin Mary. And that fear comes only from the evil one. I mean, slaves we are already to someone or something. So, I mean, things that you love, things that you use, things that you like. So, I mean, the best thing you could do would be simply to make again the promises you made at baptism, to renounce the devil, his works, and his empty promises. Because up until now, you and I know that we have not taken seriously these promises we made at baptism. Because for certain periods of time in our lives, we have been slaves to the evil one. Secondly, Jesus was subject to the Blessed Virgin Mary for 30 years. I mean, there was no need for him to do that. And yet, those 30 years teach us, the way to go about life by being slaves to the Blessed Virgin Mary. So all those worries and fears that we have can only come from one thing, from one person, from one being, and that is the evil one. From now on, the only thing that you are going to be doing differently is simply to dedicate, as much as you are aware of it, to dedicate everything that you do to the Blessed Virgin Mary. And she's going to make everything better, greater, beautiful, and offer it for you to choose. So Mary has only one interest in life, to bring us closer to Christ. And that's what she's going to be doing from now on.